Why hello to? I guess we're just jumping right into this one. I thought I hit stop and just started recording. Today we have today we have Uncle Wiggily in Connecticut. It's the second story in the 9 stories by J.D. Salinger. This one, like I mentioned it in the first video, in the perfect day for banana fish, where I said that story and I think it's Teddy are really strong, but the rest of the stories were kind of um, weak for me. And so this is a reread. So in Uncle Wiggly's Uncle Wiggily in Connecticut, you have this lady Eloise, and uh, she has one of her college friends over. What was her name? Mary Jane. And they are sitting around the house. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're reminiscing about the good old days. And uh, Eloise is in a very unhappy relationship. She was in love with a guy, and he died in the war. Uh, and she ended up married to this dude. I can't think of his name. I'm trying to find it. Was it was it Lou? I think his name was Lou, and I could be completely wrong with that, but we're going to go with it. And so she's unhappy, and she's reminiscing about the good old days with this Mary Jane. Her daughter comes running in, which the Mary Jane hasn't seen Ramona, the daughter, forever, and she is talking about her imaginary friend. Uh, what was his name? I should have made some notes here. So I'm feeling really unprepared. His name doesn't matter what his name is. Anyway, she has this imaginary friend, and she introduces like her imaginary friend to Mary Jane or whatever. And so the kid decides she's gonna go back outside and play. She's not really wanting to converse, to hang out with the drunken adults. She goes back out. She goes back out to play. A little while later, she comes running back in, and she says her imaginary friend got ran over by a car. No one really cares. So there's an ice storm going, building, whatever, and uh, Eloise has um, I guess like a maid, and the maid asks, the weather's getting bad, can her husband stay there for the night so they don't have to like drive home or whatever? And she gets really nasty with her, says no. And so anyway, it's time for them to pass out. Right, they're passed out. Ramona's in bed, and Eloise goes up to check on her, and Ramona is like all the way into one side of the bed because that's how she slept, so she didn't like crush her imaginary friend. And so Eloise asks Ramona, "Why you sleep on that side of the bed?" And she's like, she doesn't want to crush her new imaginary friend, which I think was named like Mickey. We're gonna go with Mickey. And Eloise got angry and like dragged Ramona into the middle of the bed and said, "You sleep like that. You sleep normal." And so Ramona, of course, is like not happy. She's crying or whatever. And Eloise is just kind of like standing there, just kind of in the doorway, just, I guess, kind of thinking about life. And she goes down and she wakes up Mary Jane, who was passed out. and ask Mary Jane, "You remember back in college when I was a good person or a nice person or something along those lines?" And the story just kind of ends. So, I mean, yeah, I got. I guess the story hit a little differently this time than the first time I read it. It was kind of like just a throwaway story, but I kind of actually liked it a lot better this time through because we all have those times uh, where life just doesn't seem like it lines up how you thought it was going to line up, and then you get angry and you lash out at other people, and then of course you feel like complete and total garbage for it. But yeah, I don't know, it just kind of hit me a little different this time around than it did the first time I read it. So I'm kind of wondering, if these other stories, if they're going to, uh, if they're going to hit a little different too. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to reading the other 7 stories of the 9 stories, which I don't remember. I have. It wasn't that long ago that I even read these. I want to say it was like last March, like 2020 March. I want to say it was pandemic time, like the beginning of pandemics when I read these. So interesting how uh, just in like a year's time, how rereading something, it just kind of makes you think a little more, a little differently, or whatever. So that's it for this one, peeps. I kind of feel like I rambled my way through this one, but Uncle Wiggily in Connecticut, I gotta say, I really enjoyed it this time around. So that's it for this one, peeps. Cheers.